Craving comfort food that's rich, creamy and packed with bold flavors? This Thai Massaman Curry combines tender beef, hearty potatoes and aromatic spices for a dish that's sure to impress. Let's get started. Okay, so here's what you're going to need for this recipe. We're going to start with our beef first. I have got chuck steak. Our dry ingredients are whole coriander, cumin, cardamom, cinnamon sticks and cloves. Now you can use powdered spices if you don't want to use or don't have the whole spices. I've got some dried chillis to your taste, some garlic, galangal. You can get galangal from the supermarket and you can also freeze the extra. Shallots. I've got some fish sauce, coconut milk. Now use the full cream coconut milk, not the light coconut milk. Some beef stock, tamarind paste. You can get this in the supermarket. Nutmeg. I couldn't get whole nutmeg, so I've got a powdered nutmeg. Hiding at the back here, we've got my lemongrass, fresh if you can, and some potatoes. Now don't worry, all of the ingredients will be in the listing below, so you don't have to memorize all this, and I am going to step you through the whole process. So let's get started. So let's start by chopping up our meat. I'm going to chop it up into big chunks. Now you can buy any cut of beef that you can slow cook. I have chosen to go with chunks. Okay, so that's my beef all cut up into nice chunky bits. Let's set that aside. Okay, we're going to take 2 sticks of lemongrass, take out all the outer bits, and we're going to use the nice soft tender inside bit. And we're just going to roughly chop this into big bits. Okay, so step 1 is we're going to cook our meat. Now I'm using a pressure cooker today because I want to speed up the process, but you can just cook your meat as per normal. This is my stock. And here's my lemongrass that I had chopped up earlier. Okay, beautiful. So I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to cook this now till it's about 70% done. Nice and easy, so that's the first step. Okay, so step 2 is we're going to dry roast all our whole spices. We've got our cumin, coriander, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves and chillis. We're going to lightly toast it till it releases its aroma. And if you don't want to do this process, you can use dry spices instead. Okay, that's toasted beautifully. I'm going to turn the heat off, let this cool down, and then grind it in my grinder. Okay, and some nutmeg. I'm going to add it there. There you have it. That's all my dry spices. You can use powdered spices instead of making your own spice. Okay, next up I want to char grill my garlic. I'll turn that down a bit. And my shallots. So I want to pack as much flavor into this, so I'm going to try and char grill this. You don't have to do this process, you can just blend it, but this just gives it another smoky flavor. Now I have got this little grill that I use, but if you don't have it, you can do it in a non-stick pan. Okay, my garlic looks done, so I'm going to take my garlic out. I should have taken out the outer layer of my onions first because they made a huge mess. So I'm going to let this cool off and then blend them up. Okay, so while that's cooling off, we're going to chop up our lemongrass and our galangal. Pop that in the food processor. Do the same with your piece of galangal. Just chop it into rough bits. In it goes. Now we're going to pop that garlic and onion in. This is the messy bit. That's all my onions chopped up. And that's my dry spices that I toasted earlier. That goes in with a dash of water, and I'm going to blend this into a curry paste. Okay, so there you have it, our delicious homemade Massaman curry paste. Let's dice and cube our potatoes. I'm going to pop that aside. It's time to check on the meat. And this looks good. It's not completely cooked because I want to cook it in my curry paste. So let's take this out. Okay, now all this yummy juices that you've got, this stock, I'm going to use some of it to cook with, to cook my curry in, and keep the rest of it. Do not chuck it out. It will make a great soup. Yes, don't get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and start on the curry paste. So let's start by heating up a pan. Once the pan's heated up, I'm going to add my oil, and I'm just adding a vegetable oil, a neutral tasting oil. Once that oil is heated up, I'm going to add my beautiful curry paste that I had made earlier. And we're going to cook this curry paste through. So give that a good mix. Now, if you have been following my channel, my regulars, you know that I have been doing a lot of street food videos in Thailand. If you haven't, go and watch them. So this is inspired from my travels, and you are going to see a lot of Thai food in the next coming videos. So subscribe if you haven't. Oh, that smells absolutely delicious. Massaman curry was one of my favorites when I was in Thailand. I almost ate it once a week. Absolutely love this curry. Now, just like any other curry, we're going to cook this through right till the oil releases and comes to the surface. That's when we know that our ingredients are cooked. So take your time here and don't skip this process. It might take about 10 minutes. Keep stirring it so it doesn't get burnt. Okay, now I have been cooking this curry for about 15 minutes, stirring it on a low to medium flame. As you can see, the color has changed. It's turned a darker color. The raw lemongrass smell is gone, which was a beautiful smell, but you don't want that raw smell. So take your time to let all these spices infuse. This is the most important part of cooking any curry, is just taking your time here. Don't be afraid, you're not going to burn anything as long as you're stirring it. It'll be good. I'm going to add just a little bit of that stock. Mix that through. A little bit more stock. Lovely. That's the nice paste I'm looking for. I'm just going to turn my exhaust up so the camera doesn't fog up. Okay, so my last 3 ingredients go in. This is the tamarind, sugar to balance out those flavors, and some fish sauce. Our fish sauce is salty, and we also had the stock, which is salty. I love fish sauce, so I am going to put 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Now these 3 ingredients is to your taste, so you can play around with those 3 ingredients. Give that a mix through. I'm going to let that sugar melt, and then I'm just going to taste it. If you like beef recipes, I do have another beef recipe, an Indian beef recipe that I will link in the description below. Go and check that out as well. Okay, so time for tasting. It's a little bit sour, salty from the tamarind. I can taste the sour, but I quite like it. I don't think I'm going to add anything. Maybe just 1 more teaspoon of fish sauce, just because I like it so much. But you don't have to. Nice. As I mentioned, play around with the last 3 ingredients as they are to your taste. So the meat goes in next. Get that lemongrass out. Mix that through. going to add my stock. Now my meat is about 80% cooked, so I did want to cook the meat in this gravy. So make sure that you don't overcook your meat. Pinch of salt. Give that a nice mix through. Now when you are tasting your curry paste, it should have a nice strong flavor, because remember we are going to put some coconut milk in this, so that's going to mellow the flavor down. So adjust it so it's nice and strong and has a good punch. Okay, so my coconut milk goes in next. This is a full cream coconut milk. I'm going to turn the heat up slightly and mix that through. So give that a few minutes to start simmering, and then I'm going to add my potatoes. I would love it if you hit that like button, leave me a comment, or if you like this recipe, consider subscribing for some more Thai recipes. Okay, now that that's come to a simmer, I'm going to add my potatoes. Mix that through. So I've got plenty of liquid in there to cook my potatoes and my meat. So I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to come back and check on this in 15 minutes. Okay, so this has been simmering away for a total of 30 minutes. So let's check on it. That smells delicious. Okay, I'm just going to turn it up. Let's check on my potatoes. Yep, let's check on the meat. Beautiful, meat's cut in half. Alright, the gravy looks nice and thick, just like how I want it. So I do urge you to give this Massaman curry a try, even if you are a beginner. Try and follow all the steps and don't skip roasting those spices, because it really does make a huge difference. So I'm just going to thicken this up a little bit. It will thicken up once I take it off the heat. It's got coconut milk in it. Look how rich that gravy is. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to get stuck into this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Subscribe for more videos and check out my beef recipe playlist. See you in the next video.